It is 100% certain that fiat will continue to debase because of the debt spiral that we are in globally, not just individual countries. This is a global fiat phenomenon. There are potential problems with the Blackrock ETF, but if you hodl your own keys and you own the hardest asset ever introduced to mankind called Bitcoin, the math is on your side. Because if you measure Bitcoin in a debasing fiat currency, it's going higher because the unit of account is going lower.
Popular Bitcoin enthusiast and executive director of strategic initiatives at Validus Power Corp, Greg Foss, says the fiat Ponzi scheme is over and only hard assets like Bitcoin and gold can help you avoid being completely wiped out during the impending collapse. Foss believes that there is one important quality that sets Bitcoin apart from all of the 180 fiat currencies that are currently in use around the world. While Bitcoin's supply is permanently fixed at 21 million coins forever, governments have been known to print more and more money at any given opportunity. As a result of their reckless monetary policies, these currencies are constantly being debased. Foss believes there will come a time when our paper currencies will not even be worth the papers on which they are printed. The former hedge fund manager recently had a discussion with Clarke, the host of the Gday Bitcoin YouTube channel. During the discussion, Foss explains that the concept of currency debasement and paper money going down to zero has been around for centuries. He references the words of French writer and philosopher Voltaire, who in 1729 warned that paper money eventually returns to its intrinsic value, which is zero. Almost 300 years later, his words are still very applicable to our situation. According to Greg Foss, it's all pure mathematics. Paper money will keep dropping until it has no value at all. On the other hand, Bitcoin will keep going higher and higher with every drop in value in the dollar and other fiat currencies. Despite the bear market and recent price declines, the leading crypto asset has been in a permanent bull market in countries like Argentina, Venezuela, and Turkey, where local fiat currencies are dropping rapidly against the dollar. If, and probably when the United States meets the same fate, Bitcoin's price will skyrocket against the dollar in the blink of an eye. During the interview, Foss also comments on concerns that the approval of Blackrock's ETF application will be bad for Bitcoin. According to the renowned Bitcoin investor and enthusiast, these concerns are baseless and not worth anyone's time. Foss believes that as long as you hold your own coins, you should be bullish, just as he is about the possibility of a spot ETF being approved. We will now bring you clips from the interview. Please watch the video to the end, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. You can also drop your thoughts, comments, and observations in the comments section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
I'm very bullish, and I don't believe the FUD actually reflective of the true risk. That being said, I'm never 100% certain about anything. Except I'm going to get to my punchline in the first 2 minutes of our podcast. The only thing I'm 100% certain of is fiat debasement. Everything that I do in life is about mathematics and probabilities, expected value. You said billions of dollars of bonds. That's a flattering intro, but here's the truth. A good day, I would trade $1 billion. Okay, like on one day, I would do that. Not that I traded billions of dollars of treasuries. That's easy to trade $1 billion treasuries. But trading $1 billion of some esoteric credit instruments, that's more difficult. And you got to be right in the meat and potatoes of the financial markets to do that. I didn't do it on a regular basis, but I could certainly think about 4 or 5 days in my career that I traded over $1 billion of esoteric credit instruments. You need to understand, people, there is no certainty in financial markets, except, again, mathematics will prove that fiat debasement is 100% certain. And you can't argue with math, okay? Math is the base layer of language, because if you measure Bitcoin in a debasing fiat currency, it's going higher because the unit of account is going lower. I don't know how to say it any more simply, you knuckleheads. You're not making money on your house, okay? Absolutely not making money on the value of your house. The value of a roof over your head has never changed, one iota. What has changed is the unit of account that measures the value of that account, that house, okay? Understand math. Mathematics, not FUD, not, oh my God, BlackRock's going to attack the hardest asset. Why would BlackRock attack the hardest asset? To destroy any value that accretes for itself? Think about the probabilities. Yes, it's not a zero probability, but it is not an attack vector that is planned. I need people to play probability analysis. Understand that it's a distribution of outcomes where you have tail risks on both ends. But my God, you're supposed to play the most likely outcomes, not these tail risks. You can hedge against the tail risks, but don't go to the newspaper and say, I'm 100% certain about this tail risk that has, I don't know, less than 2% cumulative probability. You guys don't effing get it, okay? You just don't know how to manage risk. So that's my little pitch. Learn math, understand statistics. If you don't get grade 11 math, you probably missed the most important subject in school. So if you failed grade 11 math, have fun being a slave to the fiat Ponzi.
Rather than dwell on the negatives, Foss is choosing to be positive about the world's largest asset manager with over $9 trillion in AUM, not only expressing interest in Bitcoin, but offering a product that would make it easy for its big money clients to directly invest in the asset. For those who are concerned that BlackRock will manipulate Bitcoin prices just like big US banks have been doing with gold and other commodities, Foss says those concerns are unnecessary as BlackRock will also benefit when Bitcoin prices go up. During the interview, Foss also talks about the crisis currently brewing in the U.S. banking industry. After March's widespread banking sector contagion, policymakers such as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen have sought to assure the public that the banking sector is strong and resilient. But recent events, such as the recent Bank of California $1.1 billion buyout deal with PacWest Bancorp, prove that the industry is far from being strong or resilient. Foss explains that this is just an example of a zombie company taking on another zombie company. Eventually, the whole thing will unravel rapidly. Here are more clips from the interview.
In 1988, when I graduated from school in an upstate New York Ivy League school called Cornell, there were 15,000 banks in the United States. 15,000. Okay? Now, contrast that with the ADA of the United States, which is my country, Canada. We're a long, thin ribbon. We only have 6 banks. They span the globe, they span the country coast to coast. But due to different regulations in the two countries, like interstate banking rules and community banks and whatnot in the USA, there were 15,000 in the USA versus only 6 in Canada. Damn, that's a pretty big structural difference, right, between the two countries. Which is to say, though, Sean, today in the United States, there's about 5,000. Which is to say, in the last 35 years since I graduated in 1988, 10,000 banks in the USA have either failed or had to be combined with stronger balance sheet banks to work out bad loan portfolios. That's 10,000 banks in the USA that have disappeared in 35 years. What do you think the trend is? I'm anticipating that the US will settle out with a banking system somewhere, dare I say, below 500, but above 100 USA banks, which means they're going to get a lot of bigger. There's going to be a lot more concentration of risk in the US banking system. And most importantly, there will be an implied, and this is where it's key, too big to fail. The banking systems in both of our country are already too big to fail. Any one of the 8 national banks in Canada are too big to fail. The government has an implied backstop on any one of them because the contagion to the remaining 7 banks would be so severe that it would cause the rest of the banks to fail if the government didn't backstop the banking system. How do they backstop it, Sean? With the ability to print money. So banks, which are levered 25 times to their equity capital base, that's the leverage of a common bank, which is to say their risk absorbing capital is 4 cents on every dollar that they lend. That means they lever their risk absorbing capital or equity 25 turns. That's how you create money, is through the banking system. So the banking system is the fiat Ponzi transfer mechanism, which is to say banks in the United States will continue to consolidate or fail or get what's called a take under. And in USA in the last 2 months, there was a amalgamation of 2 California banks, PacWest and Bank of California, where Bank of California took over, in air quotes, took over PacWest at a price that was under the trading value on the open market of PacWest stock. See, they had to do that, and PacWest had to accept the take under, not take over, take under, to combine 2 weak balance sheets into something that was more robust by eliminating duplicity in the system of banks. Get rid of all the back office of one bank, you can increase the profitability margin, etc. But now you have 2 zombie banks merged into one that eventually will be acquired by another bank because it still won't survive.
Greg Foss is predicting the collapse of the banking sector, not just in the United States, but everywhere around the world. He estimates that the fall of the global banking sector will mark the eventual end of the fiat Ponzi scheme and the beginning of a new era that will be championed by Bitcoin. But before then, he believes we are going to have more banking collapses in the United States as the smaller banks continue to consolidate into the bigger, so-called too-big-to-fail banks. According to the former hedge fund manager, this and the introduction of a central bank digital currency, CBDC, have been the plan all along. What are your thoughts on Greg Foss' interview and outlook for Bitcoin and the overall U.S. economy? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.